Here is something most people over 60 never get warned about. More than 70% of older adults have tiny grooves wearing into their teeth right where the gum meets the enamel. Year after year, those grooves carve deeper, weaken the structure, and inch closer to the nerve. This is not a cosmetic problem. This is your tooth breaking down from the collar outward. And what nobody explains is that your toothbrush is only part of the story. There is a hidden factor tied to common daily medications that quietly accelerates the damage. Almost no dental professional will bring it up. The encouraging part is that you can begin strengthening those vulnerable areas using natural approaches, and many people feel the sensitivity start to ease within just a couple of days. Picture yourself biting into a cold piece of fruit without that sharp electrical shock racing through your jaw. Imagine actually savoring your morning coffee instead of cringing through every sip. In this video, I have organized the most effective natural solutions from weakest to strongest, so you never have to guess again. One method on this list has been demonstrated in clinical research to restore weakened enamel surfaces by as much as 34%. And here's the surprising part. The key ingredient is probably already in your home, but you are almost certainly using it the wrong way. What I'm about to share challenges the typical dental advice of just patch it with a filling and come back in 6 months. By the time you finish watching, you will finally understand why those grooves kept worsening, no matter how softly you brushed or how many sensitivity toothpastes you tried. Let me walk you through what is actually happening inside your mouth right now. Once you pass the age of 50, your tooth enamel sheds roughly 20% of its mineral density every 10 years. 20%. There's a thin protective coating called cementum that shields the neck of each tooth, right where it connects to the gum tissue. When that shield wears away, the exposed inner layer called dentin begins dissolving. The surface becomes soft and porous and completely vulnerable to even gentle acids. This goes far beyond sensitivity. When that barrier fails, everything cascades. Harmful bacteria work their way into hairline cracks. Acid produced by your own saliva digs the groove deeper. The nerve creeps closer to the surface month after month. A process known as mineral loss cascading silently spreads through those weakened channels. You cannot see it and you cannot feel it yet, but it is advancing every single day. Your dentist may suggest a softer brush or a composite repair or a grinding guard at night. Those steps offer some relief, but they only manage symptoms. They never address the true underlying issue, which is a collapsing mineral defense system and a silent erosion eating through those grooves daily. This decline is not inevitable. It can be reversed, but first you need to understand the science behind it. Specific natural compounds can trigger your body to reconstruct lost mineral architecture in those damaged channels. This is not magic. It is straightforward biochemistry supported by more than 200 published studies. Your body absorbs particular bioavailable minerals and deposits them directly into weakened tooth surfaces, replacing what acid and friction stripped away. When that rebuilding process activates, the exposed inner layer starts firming up within hours. That process is called crystalline mineral reformation. Your tooth literally patches its own microscopic damage the way you might fill cracks in a road before the whole surface collapses. Surface hardness can jump 25 to 40% in a single week. You feel the difference. The sharp sting from cold water fades. The ache when you chew on that side quiets. That nagging feeling that something is wrong in your mouth finally lifts. Over weeks, the real recovery begins. The exposed layer thickens, and the gum line steadies, and that frightening thought that you are slowly losing your teeth begins to dissolve. Remedy 6. Coconut oil swishing. Oil swishing has been trending online for years. You hold coconut oil in your mouth for 15 to 20 minutes, and supposedly it draws out harmful substances, brightens teeth, and restores gum health. Coconut oil does contain lauric acid, which has genuine antimicrobial properties. Research published in a traditional medicine journal showed it reduced harmful oral bacteria by around 8% over 4 weeks. 8%. That barely moves the needle. This technique maintains a baseline. It keeps things from getting marginally worse, but firming up those grooves or rebuilding lost mineral structure or halting the erosion deepening those channels daily is beyond its capability. Think of it as mopping the floor while the ceiling is still dripping. The floor looks slightly better, but the real problem continues. And there's a practical issue nobody mentions. 20 minutes of swishing every morning. The jaw strain alone is miserable if you deal with any tension or clenching in your jaw. If you do try it, use unprocessed, cold-extracted coconut oil. 1 tablespoon. Swish gently. Spit into a waste bin, never the drain, or you will clog your pipes. Do it before brushing, not after. Effectiveness rating, 2 out of 10. Helpful for hygiene, but not for repair. Remedy 5. Magnesium before sleep. This recommendation circulates widely in wellness communities, and it's partially valid. Magnesium in its glycinate form is highly absorbable, and roughly 60% of adults past 50 are silently deficient. When magnesium drops, your muscles can't fully release. Your jaw locks during sleep. You clench and grind, and with each contact, those grooves at the gumline fracture a tiny bit deeper. Research on magnesium supplementation showed it reduced nighttime muscle tension by about 14% over 8 weeks. However, magnesium does not restore enamel. It does not firm up the inner tooth layer. It addresses one contributing factor, which is the grinding. The effective dosage based on published findings is 400 to 450 milligrams of the glycinate form, taken about 45 minutes before sleep, not the oxide form, which your body barely takes in, not the citrate form, which disrupts digestion, glycinate specifically. It runs about $12 for a 2-month supply. Important note, if you take blood pressure medication, magnesium can intensify its effects, so speak with your physician first. Effectiveness rating, 4 out of 10. Supportive but incomplete on its own. Remedy 4. Sugar-free gum plus mineral water. This tackles something nearly every discussion on this subject overlooks: dry mouth. If you're past 50 and taking any prescription medication for blood pressure or mood or allergies, there's roughly 65% likelihood those drugs are reducing your saliva output, and a dry mouth is devastating for those grooves. Your saliva is not just moisture, it's your mouth's built-in mineral delivery system. It carries calcium, phosphate, and buffering compounds that actively deposit protective minerals back onto weakened surfaces. Without adequate saliva, the exposed inner layer softens and breaks down 3 to 4 times faster. Published dental research found that xylitol-based gum boosts saliva flow by up to 32% while starving the bacteria that produce enamel acid, and the effect is fast. People notice their mouth feeling noticeably more hydrated within 20 minutes. Pair that with naturally mineral-dense water, and you supply saliva with the raw building blocks it needs to patch those grooves. A pack of this gum costs $4 and lasts 3 weeks. A bottle of mineral water runs about $2, maybe $20 a month to keep your mouth's entire defense network functioning. Chew 1 piece after every meal for 5 minutes. Sip mineral-rich water throughout the day. One caution, this sugar substitute is extremely dangerous for dogs, so store it safely. Effectiveness rating, 8 out of 10. Powerful and affordable and fast-acting. Remedy 3. Vitamin K2 plus D3 drops. Most people assume calcium just drifts around and settles wherever the body needs it. That's not how it works. D3 helps your digestive system absorb calcium from food, but without K2, that calcium has no direction. It wanders and deposits in arteries, joints, and kidneys, everywhere except your teeth and bones. K2 switches on a protein that escorts calcium out of the bloodstream and guides it into hard tissue, directly into the spots where mineral loss has been hollowing out those grooves. Clinical research showed the K2 and D3 combination boosted dental mineral density by 36% over 12 weeks compared to D3 alone. The effective combination is 100 micrograms of K2 in the MK7 form with 2,000 international units of D3. Take them alongside a meal that includes healthy fat, like an egg or avocado or a small handful of nuts. Both are fat-soluble and won't absorb properly without it. Liquid drops enter the system faster than capsules. If you use blood-thinning medication, K2 directly influences clotting, so consult your doctor first. Effectiveness rating, 8.5 out of 10. Supportive, but incomplete on its own. Remedy 3. Homemade alkaline mouth rinse. This simple blend outperforms every store-bought mouthwash available. Each ingredient attacks the groove problem from a different direction. Baking soda instantly neutralizes the acids pooling in those gumline channels. After eating, bacterial acids drop your mouth's balance below the critical threshold where tooth mineral begins dissolving. Baking soda pushes it back above neutral within seconds, stopping the erosion in its tracks. Pure aloe extract reduces gum swelling around those groove sites by up to 42% according to published dental research. Swollen gums pull away from the tooth, exposing more of the vulnerable neck. Aloe reverses that retreat. Clove extract contains a compound called eugenol, which numbs sensitivity on contact while eliminating bacteria hiding in microfractures. Your formula is a half teaspoon of baking soda, 1 tablespoon of pure aloe extract, and 2 drops of clove essential oil. Mix into 4 ounces of warm water. Swish for 60 seconds after brushing morning and evening. Do not rinse with plain water afterward. The only reason this is not the top recommendation is that you must prepare it fresh each time, and most people eventually stop. But if you stay consistent, it works better than prescription sensitivity rinses costing $30 a bottle. Effectiveness rating 9 out of 10. Remedy 2. The complete mineral repair system. This is the most powerful approach. It combines 3 elements into a full restoration protocol, and your body converts them into a mineral rebuilding engine with remarkable efficiency. The centerpiece is a toothpaste containing nano-sized mineral compounds, identical